Welcome to Kletus Ray's Roadside Service. We're rolling, y'all. I love to be rolling. I was getting a little worried there because I showed up today at work, and my boss, just kind of jokingly, but also kind of seriously, he's like, Why are you here?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? I told you I was going to be done with my job, and I was headed back, and I was going to be back Thursday night, so I thought that would imply that I would be here on Friday to make my money, motherfucker." And he's like, "Well, I ain't got shit going on, and I got 4 other people that ain't got shit going on either." So, and then he looked up. There's a couple of jobs that are coming up that he wanted me to start getting prepared for, I guess. But then he decided to just send me for a random drug test, which, hey, wonderful, love it. It doesn't bother me at all to go for those. I get paid to fucking go pee in a cup and hang out and play on my phone. Sure, I'll do that. And usually, you could book up to like 2 hours for that. So, anyways, that's what I did this morning. Even though whenever I left, I had the wrong random paperwork, so I got all the way to the place where you pee in a cup, and then I had to turn around, come back to the shop, and grab the right paper, so that wasted a little bit more time. And then once I got done there, I put some fuel in my car and just kind of moseyed my way back to the shop, knowing that there's nothing else to do except for shop work, which he does not want me to do shop work. He does not want me to do online training. He doesn't want me to be on the company payroll. He wants me to be on a client's payroll, which would mean me doing another job. And they just couldn't figure anything out. But once I got back, he said, "All right, go grab a truck as a PTO and grab the tanker and make sure everything works on it." So that's what I did. And then he gave me my orders, which I was kind of freaked out about a little bit. He said there's 3,600 gallons of used porta potty fluid, the blue stuff that splashes your asshole when you take a shit in those things. Said, yeah, there's a bunch of that blue stuff in a frac tank they need you to go suck out. I'm like, brother, dude, hold on. What the fuck are you telling me right now? He's like, I'm just kidding. It's not used, but it is the blue stuff that goes in the toilets, those porta potties. It's the blue liquid in there. It's fresh, never been used. It's in a frac tank. You got to suck out 3,600 gallons out of the frac tank, and then using a different pump that's apparently over there with at the client's place. I'm gonna pump in 600 gallons of just clean water to kind of rinse out the frac tank. Which I'm like, hey, just send us with a fucking Landa and we'll just wash it out. It'll be faster and easier to just send a land out there to wash it out. But whatever, I don't give a fuck. My mirror is fucking broken. There we go. I don't know who the fuck was driving this thing before. They definitely had a broken back. Because this fucking seat was all sorts of fucking in a really weird shape. Yeah, the lumbar was all the way in. It was tilted because these seats in these Kenworths, they you can make them rotate up and down a little bit, and it was rotated all the way forward. I'm like, ah, dude, what is this, a slip and slide? What? You're pointing downhill. I don't like it. And this is actually 164, which is my favorite truck that we own because it's got the analog gauges. It's got the steering wheel controls for my radio and my cruise control. It's got the original Kenworth seat that will let you rotate back. Uh, it's got power windows and mirrors and door locks, and it's got the PTO on it. It's limited at 75 miles an hour. It's clean and simple. It's roomy and spacious. And really, that's about it. But it's my favorite truck that we have. My favorite one. We have another one that's slightly like it, but now I don't like it at all because they swapped out the driver's seat. The fucking lady truck driver just bitched and bitched and bitched about the seat in the truck. It had a rip in it. She just kept bitching about it, and they put in one of those fucking seats.com or whatever the fuck it is. Bullshit fucking Temu seat, which it fucking shakes and it rocks and it tilts sideways, and it's just, I don't like those seats at all. And you can't tilt them back. They're just rickety. I'm like, this is fucked up. And I think she regrets it also because she drives that truck all the time, and it's like, you should have just dealt with the rip in the seat, you fucking hoe. Because now that truck is, it was an identical one to this truck. Oh, and the PTO, there's a lever here in the middle that you have to push back to engage the PTO. And her lever, it's got like a little clip inside there that helps it keeps it held back. And that clip it wasn't correct. So they had a bungee cord tied to the PTO stick that you would just bungee down to your fire extinguisher, and that's how you turn the PTO on. And I got tired of it. This was whenever it still had the good seat in it, I think. And I was like, I'm gonna make this truck nice. So I took apart the fucking PTO stick and fixed the clip inside there. And then I threw that bungee away. And I was like, now this is a good truck. It's exact same as the other one. Oh, and I really do. I like the analog gauges because they're all there all the time. It's nice. The digital gauges has a little fucking scrolly deal, and I don't like it at all. I don't like being like every time you'll hit a bump and it'll think it's scrolled and it'll turn all your gauges off, and it's like, hello. And the fuel gauge is kind of hard to see. It's not hard to see at all. Like, it's right there in front of you, but it's not really like noticeable. You know what I mean? It's easily looked over. And not in this truck. I mean, it's the same size as all the other gauges. It looks exactly the same, but it's right in the center is my fuel gauge, so I can keep an eye on that. And I don't know, I just like it a lot. And I get the other one. It does have a digital speedometer also, like all the time. But this one, it has a digital speedometer. You gotta know how to run the menu to find the digital speedometer. And I got my load gauge over here. In the other trucks, yeah, it's got like 5 different settings for the fucking digital gauges, and only one of them has the suspension load gauge. And whenever you turn that one on, it's just a flood of fucking gauges on your screen, and I don't like it at all. But having the manual load gauge right here is nice. Analog gauge, I guess what you would call. The only thing I do like the digital one because it gives you a digital readout with tints. So if I'm in this truck and I'm like a little bit over 50, I'm like, I think I'm at like 53 psi. I don't know. But on the one with the digital, it'll actually tell you 53.2 psi or whatever, and it's kind of nice because that you can gauge, how heavy you are easier. But not a big deal. But I'm just happy to be driving this truck. I put a new case of water in here and I cleaned all the trash out of it because, yeah, whoever had this before, they don't care as much as I do. I clean all the trash out of all the trucks every time I get out of them. Like the tanker truck I had last night. Again, last night everything went fine. I drove all the way home. I listened to 2 different Joe Rogan podcasts. They were okay. They were all right. It wasn't like a real. I didn't. They were good podcasts, but I wasn't like amazed at the topics and stuff like that, like I thought I was gonna be. But they're okay. And then, yeah, I get back to the shop and there's a guy there. He's got a Volkswagen Passat, and he's like, "I'm fixing my brakes." I'm like, "Good. I don't want to help. I want to go home." But I did. I stood there and talked to him for a while, and got my truck fueled up and parked and put away and got all the trash cleaned out of it. Yeah, the drive home was nice. It was not bad. There was a little bit of a traffic jam on the highway for no fucking reason, and I was not happy about that. But yeah, my longer route home went perfectly well. I stopped and I got fuel one time, and I ran inside and I grabbed me a Starbucks espresso, like the tiny little 4-ounce can of espresso, because it was the only thing that had still, even though it was only 4 ounces, it still had 120 calories in it, which most of that is probably from the sugar or whatever. But I don't know. I wanted some sort of an energy for later on last night, because I knew I would end up getting a little bit tired. And I couldn't find the nitro coffees that have, the straight black nitro coffees. And, they all have coffee all the time. All the truck stops have coffee all the time. So I could have just got black coffee, but I don't know. I like drinking it I like buying it out of a cooler and having it in a can. I just feel nice about it. Even though, I could have got a big cup of black coffee and, put ice in it. But then it'd be watered down, oh well. And yeah, I ate the rest of the things I had with me. I had, I don't know, probably 8 beef sticks, like the tiny little ones, 4 cheese sticks, and then when I went in the gas station, they had my delicious pork rinds. I think these guys are having a little bit of a road rage. There's a Florida Mazda that's just driving like a fucking asshole. And this Toyota looks like he's getting fed up with him. He's in the fast lane, just hogging the fast lane. I guess I should be looking at my GPS. I'm pretty sure I know where I'm going. And then, I got home last night. The kids were so excited to see me. So were the dogs. The wife I think she was happy to see me, but she just kind of needed a break, is what it was. So she disappeared upon entry, listen, I'm not expecting, flowers and a banner and everything for when I come home. But, yeah, she just straight up disappeared, which was kind of, like, I thought you guys missed me a little bit. And everybody did, except for, I guess, her. I don't know. Or she just needed her break. She was worn out. She looked worn out, which is fine. She wanted to be able to read her book in peace without screaming at the children every 5 minutes. And then I kept the kids up until 9, which was also, didn't really tickle her. The kids were still up at 9 o'clock. But I wanted to hang out with them, and I didn't get there until like 7:30. Because I was slow as fuck at home. But, or slow as fuck at the shop on my way to get home. And, Yeah, I didn't do much. I watched a couple of videos. So there's this dude, Thunderhead 289, I think is what his name is. But his name is also Luke, and he is on the YouTube. And I've watched him before. There's a guy called Junkyard Digs, and he I didn't realize, but him and my pole barn garage guy Dalton, they actually hang out a lot. And the Kevin guy from Junkyard Digs also hangs out with the Thunderhead guy, the Luke guy, all the time, which is kind of crazy because Kevin and Luke, and my friend is Luke. But anyways, they work on they do a lot of revivals, like they fix up cars and stuff. Well, I was just the guy was like, "Hey, I'm getting 40 miles a gallon in a Ford 302 V8 with a carburetor," and I was like, "I need to look into this." So I looked into it, and I went. It went a couple of different ways. So how he was getting 40 miles a gallon was he? I don't know what he did exactly because I need to look at more videos. But he had a lawnmower carburetor, tiny carburetor, running his V8. Now, he didn't really get into it, but he wasn't answering the questions that I had, which was like, does it have power? And I mean, he got up to 70 miles an hour pretty quick, but it didn't look like he was like flooring it or whatever. But I also don't know like the transmission and the gearing and all that good stuff that he's got with his, it was a Ford Maverick, a four-door Ford Maverick. And so I don't know the whole specifics about that, but he did run a fuel mileage test, and yeah, he got about 40 miles a gallon out of a V8, which was insane. But he had this like computer system under his hood, and it's called the carb cheater. He's like, I put a carb cheater on there because it's way easier to dial in your carb with it. And I'm like, what the fuck is a carb cheater? So I looked it up a little bit more, watching a couple more of his videos, and it's apparently this guy Luke developed this carb cheater, which for any carburetor, it comes with a carb spacer, but the carb spacer is just for vacuum ports. So he's got these vacuum ports, and then a computer box, and the computer box goes down. It hooks up. There's like a vacuum valve inside of the computer box, so you hook up that to it, to the carb spacer, and then you hook up another vacuum line. I don't remember where it went, and then it runs to well, I guess one vacuum line goes to the carb spacer, and then the other vacuum off the carb spacer goes to another sensor or something, and then it also has some wires that go down to an oxygen sensor that you put on your exhaust, and it's all sold in this entire kit. It's all pre-wired, pre-ready to go. All you got to do is plug it in, bolt it up, and what it does, you still have to dial your carb in as good as you can, and get it really good, as much as you can, like you would normally do. But then he's got this little computer system that has an app on your phone, or he sells this little LCD screen or LED screen or whatever that you can mount in your vehicle, and you can get a digital readout of what your air fuel mixture is, and you can tune it. Like, and there's an auto tune button because he's got it, certain parameters set for what you set it up as, because you can set it up for a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, V8. You can set it up to all different types of things. But yeah, it just tunes the air fuel regulator. It's still going to get the same amount of fuel, but it regulates how much air you're going to get, and it basically, you'll have a perfectly tuned carb with this little system he's got. Now, the system, I looked it up, and he's got his own website and everything. It cost I didn't look to see everything that he sold, but the basic kit is like $350, which, I mean, if it's going to give you way better fuel mileage and make your vehicle run way better, you might as well do it. For $350, it's not bad, and it's a lifetime deal. Lifetime of the engine or whatever. I don't know. As long as it's in good shape, and he's got like waterproof connectors and everything. The carb spacer is like 3D printed. Now I could probably just tap my, because I have an aluminum carb spacer, so maybe I could save a little bit of money by just not using that, and I could just tap mine out. And then also it's like I don't need the digital readout gauge because he's got an app that he developed for this. So you can just download the app, and then also like the O2 sensor. If you already have O2 sensors, you don't need to buy the O2 sensor and the wiring harness for that. But yeah, I don't know. So I don't. Part of me is like, all right, if you just buy the kit, it's a one and done. You're good. Everything will work together. But if I try to go over there and I'm like, oh, I want this part, but I don't need that part, and do that, and then it's like, oh, I could buy an O2 sensor for way cheaper, blah blah blah. Like, no, you'll end up fucking spending more money than it was to just buy the fucking kit. So, anyways, that's a really cool thing, and I'm thinking about at some point getting that for my truck, because that would be so nice to be able to fully tune your fuel air mixture with your carb. And like I said, you still got to tune it, the old school way, but then it basically just creates a vacuum leak to to uh to help your shit work a little bit better. I don't know. And you can monitor it, and you can be like, okay, there's something wrong if it's not able to run properly. I don't know. But I thought that was so cool. And so whenever he had the lawnmower carb on there, he was also running that computer system. And I think that's the only way you can get one of those little lawnmower carbs to work is with this computer system. Because I guess you can, you got to have a certain amount of fuel. I don't know. It's so weird. But, yeah, and then my algorithm turned into, like, how to save fuel mileage with the V8. And I started looking at it. I'm like, but I don't know. It's like, I think if I wanted to save any fuel mileage, I would just go buy a 2-barrel carb and just hook up a 2-barrel carb and just run that. It'll still not get great gas mileage, but it would be a little bit better gas mileage than my Edelbrock 4-barrel carb. But I don't know. I'm also not really looking to save fuel mileage. I didn't buy a square body to get 40 miles a gallon. I bought a square body because I love them the way they are. But I don't know. So that's what I did until I went to bed last night, was just watch some YouTube videos. I woke up this morning on time, got everything good and going, and got the fuck out of the house. It's kind of weird because that was the only good coffee I've had in all week long was from my house, because I steal all those little K-cups out of the hotel rooms, but I don't use the Keurig in the hotel rooms because I'm like, those things could be so gross. They could have some shit inside of them. I don't know. They probably have a procedure where they pour in like vinegar to clean it, but then do these hotel workers really, are they going to test each one to make sure the coffee tastes okay coming out of it? I just didn't want to have to deal with that. This fucking bitch ass. I don't even know what kind of car it is. It's a black SUV with a roof rack on it. Looks like an expensive one, and they're just done. They seemed entitled when they were getting on the highway. I don't like them. I think if I was waiting in line at the BD's Mongolian barbecue and that guy walked in, I'd be like, I don't like this guy for some reason. And then if I found out that he was the same guy driving that truck, I'd be like, that's why I don't like him. It's because he's a fucking dick on the highway, and I could just tell if you're a dick on the highway. Well, there are some people you can't tell they're a dick on the highway until you start driving with them. And, like, because I've trained some people, and I'm just like, dude, do you even know how to drive? Like, is this how you drive your car? Some people, I don't know. Like my stepdad, and I got that right. He's my stepdad. I usually will say my father-in-law. No, my stepdad. Which one? I don't know. I'm dumb. Okay, but no, my stepdad is a really great guy. He's so cool, but his driving is atrocious. I don't like the way he scoots the seat. He's like, I like to feel like I'm in a fighter pilot. So he scoots the seat all the way up, and he's like sitting on the fucking steering wheel like an old grandma. And his arms are completely bent, and it's like, dude, if the airbag goes off, that's gonna blow your fucking head off. Like you're so close. That is not good. But he's like, I like to feel like I'm in a fighter pilot, and then he drives like a fucking maniac too. Uh, he's had so many speeding tickets, but he gets them all turned around, and he always tells the story. He's like, yeah, I got pulled over the other day, and the cop was like, man, it looks like you're a speeder, and I actually I have a malfunction with my speedometer, all the time. So. Man, I keep waiting for the fucking email to come through from my work. I just got an email. It was nothing I'm gonna even attempt to look at. But I keep waiting for the email to say that we're gonna get a fucking bonus, dude. 'Cause I need a bonus. I need it. It will help us catch up with some shit, which would be nice. Also, with a water heater in my future and the square body almost, I need to get a windshield. I need to get a window seal. I gotta get it inspected. I gotta get it. I gotta get some shit for my fucking truck going so I can drive it on the road legally. And just waiting on that shit. Oh, if I get the bonus, things will definitely help out to get that thing, because it's starting to get cold out here, y'all. It's starting to get cold out, and eventually it's going to start snowing, and I think it'd be really cool to have a four-wheel drive truck instead of just my front-wheel drive car, even though my front-wheel drive car, where I need to go, it'll be fine. But I would love to be able to have my four-wheel drive truck and go play in the snow, and especially if I like start getting all the service stuff hooked up, and get a chain and everything, go help pull some people out. That'd just be, I loved every time I pulled somebody out in the snow. I think it's just so cool that first off that I can help somebody, also that I get to fucking yank out cars. It's pretty fucking cool. Oh man, oh there's an old school car sitting at the pump. I don't know. It's like a Ford coupe with the suicide doors. And I'm 4 minutes away from my destination to suck up this porta potty blue liquid. And I have a feeling, well, as soon as I'm going to go over here, I'm going to get it pumped out. I'm going to get it rinsed out, pump out the rest of the water that we pour in there, because they have totes of water they want us to pump into it to rinse it out, I guess. I'm going to get everything sucked out. I'm going to go to the landfill. I'm going to have a guy, the Italian. I'm going to have the Italian meet me at the landfill with a pressure washer, and he's going to rinse out my tank. And then I'm going to go back to the shop. Will my day be done? I don't know. I would like to stay as long as possible today so I can have a nice long weekend. And get money, and I don't know. I looked on the board. There is a couple of jobs this weekend, but I don't know. They're not the normal jobs that people would usually give up. And I think a lot of people have been hurting for hours lately, so I mean, I could probably ask for it, or I could just use my PTO like I plan on doing. Just use a Saturday 8-hour PTO day, and then I'll get paid for it, which would be nice. But I looked at my PTO the other day, and I had 40 or 30 hours of PTO, and then I looked today, and I only have 25. I don't know where the 5 hours went. I've not used PTO since I went to Florida a while back, so I don't know why my PTO is a little off. But yeah, using 8 hours of it would be nice. I mean, technically, using 16 hours of it would be. I mean, I'll be missing out on 16 hours of vacation days, but I don't ever take PTO. So if I use 2 days of it, Saturday and a Sunday, just to kind of get myself a little bit more money, I don't know. It'll just hurt me in the future. Because I got a big vacation coming up, but by the time that vacation is here, and if I don't use any other vacation, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. But yeah, I told my wife last night because she was sitting there trying to talk to me about some stuff, and I was like, "Hey, guess what?" She's like, "What?" I was like, "I don't care what we got going on this weekend. If my window switches don't get installed into my square body, I'm going to break something." She's like, "Okay, you can think." I'm like, "I'm just letting you know my goal this weekend, since the fucking washer took last weekend from me and work, my goal this weekend is to get the window switches wired up properly and mounted where I want them to go, which will probably involve me making a new trim piece for my dash, because I'm not sure where I want to mount it yet. And also, I don't know. I really need to start work on some other shit too. The dash bezel. Well, right now, probably just drill some new holes and put my shit where I need it to go, and then wait until everything is put on the dash where I want it to be, and then remake a new the new bezel, because right now I don't want to. Oh, I thought I was gonna have to haul these frac tanks off. It looks like these are frac tanks they own. Those are not frac tanks that I delivered. Alright. You guys are gonna be with me while I back this motherfucker up. It's kind of satisfying when you back up and everything is working out well. All right. Now I only brought 2-inch hoses with me, so this might take a little bit longer to load, which is fine by me. All right. Well, I'll get back with you here shortly. Guys, things did not go well. Let me tell you. And I'm hoping that I'm headed the right way right now. Okay. Things did not go well at all. Yeah. So I tested the vacuum on this tanker before I left the shop, and I got it to push pressure, and then I got it to pull vacuum, and I said, sounds good to me, right? No, not good. Because as soon as once it gets up to a certain amount of pressure, it starts fucking up, and it would not start loading the truck at all. And I was like, what? Hold on. Well, because I was still trying to figure out what the fuck was going wrong. I was like, is this like syrup? He's like, yeah, it's kind of thick. I'm like, okay. And I'm not pulling it very far, and I don't know. I'm really upset right now, and I feel like I've failed my boss, because I had called him. I'm like, hey man, I'm having fucking problems. Like, this thing is not pulling enough vacuum to load the truck. Like, it'll pull vacuum, and then it stops, and then it pull vacuum, and then it stops. And I said, I'm pretty sure this is the same truck that the other guy at our company was using whenever I was at the other job, and he was having issues with this truck. It's not the trailer's fault; it's the truck's fault. The PTO unit on the truck is not doing it. It's not doing the job. And then, of course, he, like anybody would do, which is fine. He's like, okay, well, let's start over. Let's make sure our tank is neutralized. All of our vents are neutralized. Everything is neutral. And let's fire it back up and see what that does. So I did that. And so the way to rev these trucks up is to turn on the cruise control and then turn it all the way up. And this one, it turns up to 1400 RPM, and it's got a limiter. Well, if you turn cruise control off and just slam the throttle on, it'll go up to 1600 RPM. So that was the fix that I got from my boss, was just to rev it up even higher. Because I'm telling you, it'll pull vacuum, the pump will be running, it'll sound okay. But once it starts pulling too much vacuum, it's going to start slowing down to a crawl. It'll still be turning and pumping, but it's so small that it's not pulling any more vacuum than what it already had in it. And it's not even sustaining it, because it'll pull product through the hose, but then it runs out of steam. It doesn't have enough vacuum to pull that amount of liquid, and it turns off, and then it just drains it back into the fucking tank. And it was a nightmare. And my thing that I wanted to do was to have the guy that's supposed to be washing my truck out, have him bring a trash pump up to the job site and just use that. Because so they have a pump. Yeah, go, you fucking dumb fuck. They have a pump at the place that's hooked up to their frac tank, and they've got a couple of different lines ran to do different things. So my first idea was to hook up my hoses to use his pump as an inline pump, because it's an exterior pump. It's got a line that goes into the tank, and it's got two lines that are on the outside of the tank, one that goes from the bottom, one that goes to the top. I don't know. And so I was like, hey, how about this? I'm going to hook up a hose to this side of your pump, and I'm going to hook that up to my truck. And then the other side of your pump, I'm going to hook up this hose, and we're going to take this hose into the tank. Because, so I guess I didn't explain. We got the tank pumped all the way down, but there was liquid until we were sucking just air. But there was liquid at the back of the tank because the tank is slightly tilted to the rear. So it had 0 inches of liquid at the front of the tank and 4 inches of liquid at the back. A very small amount of liquid. Well, their pump needs to have a prime and be submerged, I guess. I don't know. So, and the dude, I was working with some guys. They were good guys. They seemed like they knew what they were doing, but I had different ideas on what we should do, and they did not. I don't have any hard feelings against them whatsoever. It's just there were some things that I wanted to try that they weren't really jiving with. They were like, "No, that won't work." I'm like, "Well, can we please try it?" And but I didn't even ask that. They were just like, "That's not gonna work." I'm like, "Okay, I guess it won't. Whatever." Anyways, uh, my truck is over full, way over fucking full. I was supposed to be 3,400 gallons plus 600 gallons of clean water that they were going to pump in there, and I was going to rinse it out. No, I have 5,500 gallons on my truck, or close to 5,500 gallons. I don't know how much I weigh, but the gauge is I'm at 70 psi, and around 55, you're probably overweight. So I know I'm overweight. Just, I mean, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. But there was so little amount of liquid left in there that I was like, oh yeah, we can put a little bit more in there. We can put a little bit more in there, and then it just kept getting more and more, and then they added a third tote of water in there, and I'm just like, we really need to stop putting liquid in there because I don't have the room. But it seemed so small because they were so close to being done, and they wanted to get as much of this liquid out as possible. So the reason we were sucking this liquid out is because it's for porta potties, and they got a bad batch of enzymes or whatever the fuck this shit is that they were adding dye to it, but the enzymes were eating the dye, and the dye it turned it green instead of blue. Not a big problem. I mean, I don't see a problem with that. It's just fucking water for a fucking porta potty. But the people that run the company, they were very upset that it was all green and they wanted it to be blue. Also, the fragrance. So they dump in, he said, for a 20,000 gallon frac tank of batch mix, they add in 8 gallons of fragrance, and that is enough for 40,000 gallons. So it's whatever, 2 to 1,000, I guess, is what they add. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know what it is. But anyways, 20,000 gallons of liquid mixed with 8 gallons of fragrance makes the entire thing smell good. And he said that they dumped 2 55-gallon barrels in this, and it still doesn't smell good or smell the way that they want it to smell. Now, I don't know. It's just like this is water that people piss and shit on. But they've had it like that for a while. And they wanted to get I don't know. I guess it's been like that for a while, and they have been using it, but they're tired of it. So they wanted to get this frac tank completely drained down and dump in a whole new batch of liquid, because they dump in that liquid and they try to use as much as they can, but then they get another load in because they can't be that low on supply, I guess. I don't know. I don't work there. I don't know. But I just feel like I failed at this job, even though I got everything's there. But I'm way overweight. I had many issues. It took way longer than it was supposed to. The truck is not working properly, but my boss doesn't believe me that the truck isn't working properly. He thinks I'm the issue. And I'm like, it's not. I went through every single step with him twice. And I'm like, it's not working. It's not working, dude. And it's not the trailer. I know this trailer works because I've used this trailer a lot. It's the truck. For some reason, the PTO on this truck is not putting out the right amount of hydraulic fluid, or the flow isn't good enough. I don't know what it is. But there's no power behind the PTO on this truck. And then, yeah, I had a hydraulic leak also, because revving it up, having the pedal to the floor the entire time for, I don't know, an hour, and a fucked up pump, it did not like that at all. And it started leaking hydraulic fluid all over the clean concrete at this place. And so I grabbed some of the spill rags, the cleanup rags or whatever, and wiped it up as much as I could. And that's about it. That's about it. Now I'm headed to the landfill with the Italian. He was so nice that he brought me some lunch meat, which is wonderful. I am so overweight, dude. I can't go over 50 on the highway. It is uphill, but all my PTO and shit is off. I'm not upset, but I am like, he brought me lunch meat, and I had to eat it right now, and so I had to take my dip out to eat it, and now the bag of pork rinds that I brought, I'd like to eat those also, but there's no time for me to eat those, and I really need a dip, because I threw my dip out earlier, and I really need a dip. So I'm about to throw a dip in and drink a warm water. Oh man, the guys there were cool. I liked them. They were awesome. Just something about the way we had their pump hooked up was wrong, and I was trying different methods. But every time I would go and I would get the valve set to where I wanted to be, they were like, "Oh, that's not working," and then they go fuck with the valves, and I'm like, "Your pump has to." And we're back. I got a phone call from the wife. She was talking to me, so I guess she's been reading these books. I'm just gonna jump subject because I don't remember what I was talking about, but it was probably the same shit over and over again. But now I have something else to talk about. My wife called me. She just saw that I was leaving where I was, and she's like, what are you doing? She's just being nosy. She ain't got nothing going on, which is fine. And she was telling me about, I don't know, she was like, yeah, I got this person that, it's an author, and I've been messaging her because my wife runs them gay boy books. She reads them all, and she's in groups and stuff all over Facebook. I don't know. But anyways, one of the authors, she was like, where are you from? And my wife was like, the United States. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, where are you from? She's like, I can't tell you. She's like, why not? Well, I don't think she said that. She just said, oh, okay. And then she said, I'll tell you, but you got to keep it secret. I'm from Israel. And my wife is just like, she doesn't watch the news. She doesn't know really what's going on with anything ever. Like, I had to explain the Maui fires to her. And that was just like a couple months ago. She's like, what are you talking about, the Maui fires? I was like, oh, okay. Maui, it's over there in Hawaii. and they had horrible fires. Horrible fires. And a lot of people got hurt and went missing, and it was bad. It was not good. She's like, I didn't hear anything about this. I'm like, I don't know how. Where's the rock? How big is the rock that you're underneath? So yeah, that's just letting you guys know. She doesn't know anything about current events in the news. So she's like, so why is she scared to tell me she's from Israel? And I kind of ran her through the thing, and the gist of it is what I told her was Palestine has a terrorist group called Hamas inside of it, and Hamas attacked a concert where a lot of people were hanging out in Israel, and they destroyed a lot of lives over there. And Israel decided, okay, let's send some bombs over there and blow them up. Listen, I don't know if it was a good idea or not, but that's what happened. And Israel was attacked, and they retaliated. Yeah, can you blame them? I mean, whatever. They're going to do what they want to do. And it's been an ongoing war since then, which is weird, because wars are usually between two countries. And this is not a country. This is a terrorist group that happens to be in a country. That's like, I don't know. It's just weird. So yeah, and they keep fighting each other, and then I kind of said it's kind of like a rabbit attacking a lion, and people are upset at the lion for attacking the rabbit when the rabbit really shouldn't fucking fuck with the lion, because the lion is going to destroy indiscriminately. So, which I don't, Israel isn't doing that, but they are, there's a lot of civilians in Palestine that aren't able to get away from the incoming rockets. And yeah, it's sad that people are dying. And I said, this is why this election is kind of important, is because, Russia and Ukraine are also fighting. And it seems like the people that are in charge don't really want it to stop. They want it to keep going. And the only person that happens to be from the Republicans is saying, let's stop fucking fighting, y'all. And that happens to be Donald Trump. He'd like the wars to fucking stop. I should have gone. I really should have gone. But you fucking bitch ass was going too damn fast. Are you turning? If you're turning, I'm gonna fucking be upset at you. I'm going, bitch. So yeah, I just kind of gave her a little bit of a rundown on current war events. And yeah, that's another good aspect about the old DT, Donald Trump, is that he is the only one saying that he wants to stop the wars. And Kamala, which is with Joe Biden, they want the wars to continue. They don't want anybody to give up. They want the little guy to win or something. I don't know. I think they like the money and the action, and being wartime people, they want that shit to be going on so they can, I don't know, bask in the glory of winning or whatever the fuck it. I don't even know. I have no idea. And I was like, do you know who is Kamala? I just asked her that, and she, because my wife is actually a little bit on the fence, which is kind of funny. I'm like, who is Kamala? She's like, she's the vice president of the United States. I'm like, okay. So she's in the fucking White House. She can make any changes she wants to make right now, but instead she keeps saying, "Oh, whenever I get elected, I'll I'll do it. But I gotta pause this. Okay, so I mean, how much is too heavy? 93,000 pounds is only about 13,000 pounds overweight. So let's say I got two Chevy Suburbans sitting on top of my 80,000 pound truck. That's what I'm a little overweight. Oh man, and I can feel it. I can feel it. Whoops a daisy. That's a that's around. Well, no, I was thinking 1,300 gallons, but that's not it. Well, they say it is 10 pounds a gallon. So 13,000 gallons overweight would be about math. Yeah, math. I don't know how to do math, but if I knew how to do math, I could probably kind of figure it out. Because water only weighs 8 pounds a gallon. This weighs 10 pounds a gallon. So there's even more math for you to math if you wanted to math it. And yeah, go ahead and leave your answers down in the comment section. Fuck, let me know. I don't know. I mean, I'll figure it out at the end because whenever I come down and I scale out, I'll go back over the scale, and whenever I get my ticket, they have a little calculation, but their calculation is for, I think, water. So I don't know how much I got, but I got way too much. Now that's totes. So a tote holds 300 gallons, and it can weigh 2,500 gallons or 2,500 pounds. So let's say I got 2, 4, like a little over 5 totes extra, and 5 times 300 is 1,500 gallons. Does that sound right? 5 times 300 is, yeah, 1,500 gallons. I think that's it. I think my math is mathing today. I think I'm doing it today, guys. So yeah, but I use my math in a different. I can't use the numbers. I got to think of it. I gotta use new math. I gotta use Kletus math to figure out. Like, all right, well, tote has got 300 gallons in it, and it weighs about 2,500 pounds. 2,500 pounds to 13,000 over, and then add up the gallons. I don't know. That's how I do math a lot, is I try to figure something out like that out. Or like the Suburbans, because a Suburban weighs about 7,000 pounds. And they're big. So, yeah. Man, oh man. I am going to be one happy dog once I get this fucking shit offloaded. And I can just go get the fuck out of this place and go home. I'm gonna offload, and then I gotta get rinsed out. So I gotta open up all the top hatches, and then my guy with the pressure washer that's behind me is gonna hop up there and rinse it out, which will be nice. Rinse it on out. Oh boy, my phone is 14% battery. I just got the notification that I'm low on batteries. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So I started this job at 9, and now it's 2:30. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 30. 5.5 hours so far. I think that's too much for what I've been doing. I should have gotten loaded and then in no time. But I don't know. I can't. You can't make up what I got on the truck. You can't. You can't. You got to think about how much is on the truck. Like they had this much product at the place, which is fucking however many gallons I got on here. What did I say? 1,500 gallons over. So I usually will haul 4,800 gallons. I don't know, man. I usually haul about 4,800 gallons is where the full mark is. Now the tanker can hold 5,500 gallons, and if I'm 1,300 over, that doesn't even make sense. So this shit's really, it has to weigh more. Or well, I've already factored the weight into it, didn't I? I don't know. You guys are listening to me over here brainstorming, trying to math some stuff that I can't figure the fuck out. And now I'm here at the landfill, and the guy is probably going to say, go ahead and pump it off into the frac tank. I can't. Hong Kong. I got to honk at my guy. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys go for a little bit. I'll bring you back at the end of the day on the way fucking home. Yo, this is the ending to that episode. Did you guys haven't even heard yet? This is Monday morning at 4 in the morning. Monday at 4. I didn't end because I said I was going to talk about it after I was done at the landfill, I believe. Yeah, I dumped, I got rinsed out, everything went great, and that's about it. If there's anything else to explain, you're going to have to wait until tomorrow's episode, because I'm going to record an episode today. My weekend is just fucking, it's okay. It's a good week. It's an okay weekend. Just listen to tomorrow's episode. Keep all 18 down, and I'll talk to you later.